Hello students and welcome back to our today's session. Today we will continue with our history lesson number 5, social and religious reforms. In this session we have video 2 which contains two parts, part 1 and part 2. So let us continue with our topic, religious reform and social reform. So in the last session, that is in our last topic, what we had studied about social and religious reform movement in modern India, in which we studied about Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who started with the Brahmo Samaj in the year 1828. He was the person who opposed the sati practice and child marriage. Later on, we also studied about Pratana Samaj, which was been started or which was been founded by Dadoba Panduranga. Dadoba Panduranga first established the Paramahansa Sabha. Later the Sabha was dissolved and renamed as Pratana Samaj, and the first president of this Pratana Samaj was Dadoba Pandurang Tarkharkar's brother, Dr. Atmaram Pandurkar. We also studied about Justice Ranade, Dr. R.G. Bhandarkar, how they carried out the work of Pratana Samaj. Their main aim of Pratana Samaj was opposition to idol worship, then monotheism, that is there is only one God, you have to believe there is only one God, and opposition to all the rituals and all the orthodox systems which were privileging in the society. We also studied how Maharishi Vitthal Ramji Shinde, who was a member of Pratana Samaj, established a special mission for the depressed class. Then we studied about the Satya Shodhak Samaj, where Mahatma Jyotirao Phule started this Satya Shodhak Samaj in 1873. His main aim was to protest against untouchability. Through his writing, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule, through his writing, he has written a number of books. Through his writing in books like the Brahmanachi Kasba, Gulamgiri, Shetkarache Asud and Sarvajanik Satya Dharma. Okay, these were some of his famous books through which he had a communication or through which he kept his views, thoughts and ideas in front of the society. We also studied about the Arya Samaj, which was been started by Swami Dayanand Saraswati. Then we saw about the Ramakrishna Mission, which was established by Swami Vivekananda. Okay, and Swami Vivekananda, he gave a very nice message to the youth, the modern youth. And what the message was, he said that arise, awake and stop not till the goal is achieved, right? So similarly, all of you, my dear students, let us arise, awake and let us not stop till our goal is achieved of this teaching learning process in this pandemic situation. So let us continue with our goal and let us start with a second part of this lesson. Now today what are we going to learn in this? So moving ahead, we are going to see from page number 22 where we are going to study about social reforms among the Sikhs. Okay, now Sikh is a word given by Guru Nanak, which means the disciples, okay, or the Shishya. Now, what was the social reform which was been brought in the Sikh? This social reform which was been brought in the Sikh was by establishing a Singh Sabha, which was established at Amritsar. Now, why was the Singh Sabha established? What was the objective about this? So, the main objective of establishing the Singh Sabha, which was first established in Amritsar in the year 1873, the objective was to end social evil and superstitions which were there among the Sikh society. They were also trying to spread among the community the Punjabi language, and also they were trying to see that the Sikh people get intellectually growth. Okay, so these are some of the points, the objectives which I had kept in front of you to protect the Sikh community from Christianity. Now why it is given over here? To protect the Sikh community from Christianity, because during that time the British East India Company, which was the Christian company, was ruling, and they were trying to convert, or they were trying forcefully to convert some of the people into Christian. So the Sikh community was trying that the Britishers should not force or enforce their community members to get converted into Christian. Second objective was to spread Punjabi language and organize the Sikh community. That is, each and every person, he or she should feel proud about its own language. Whether you speak Marathi, you speak English, Telugu, Gujarati, you speak your own mother tongue. So similarly, the Sikh peoples were also feeling proud of their language, that is their language which they used to speak, that is the Punjabi language, and they wanted to organize this in their Sikh community. The third important objective was to aim the intellectual growth among the Sikh, that is English education along with the Oriental education which was been given, okay, the national education which was there in India, along with that the English education, that is the Western education, should also be developed, and also the intellectual thinking, that is the reasoning, the scientific attitude of the people, this should be grown in the Sikh community. So there was a need for a movement which should regard the Adi Granth, that is the holy book of the Sikh, as the Guru and protect the Sikh principle and the ideals. So that was the reason the Singh Sabha, which was established in Amritsar in 1873, was started. Now, the person behind this thing, okay, there was a Sikh movement. Now, these are some of the people who were involved during that time. Thakur Singh, Sadhant Walia, then Kanwar Bikram Singh, and Baba Khem Singh Bedi, who was the main person. Baba Khem Singh Bedi was a person who was the most important man to start with the Akili movement. Now, what was this Akil movement? The Singh Sabha started with Amritsar, and this was an offshoot of the Akil movement. And why it was been founded? It was founded to protect the Gurudwaras from the corrupt month. That is those people, that is the way we have the priest or the Gurujis who are there in the temples. And similarly, those people who are there who preach God's words, they were trying to spread wrong message among the people. So these were the corrupt months. So this Sabha, that is the Akali movement, was started so that the Gurudwaras and the Sikh community can be protected. So the Sikh Gurudwara Act, according to the Sikh Gurudwara Act of 1922, which gave the control of Gurudwaras to masses. Masses means people, that they can come, they can do their prayers, but at the same time they should also be aware about the wrong propaganda or the wrong messages which were being given to them. So that the Akil movement, as you can see, the Golden Temple of Amritsar, that this Akil movement is also called as the Gurudwara Reform Movement, which was a campaign to bring reform in the Gurudwaras. Now, what are Gurudwaras? This is the holy place of worship of the Sikh in India. It started in the early 1920s. Okay, we got independence in the year 1947. So before the independence, the Sikh community came together with the Akil movement. So I hope you have understood till here. Yes. Now moving ahead, the most important turn which took place in the Indian society or in the social and religious reform movement was regarding women. The emancipation of the women. Women in the Indian society were not treated equally with men. They were given the second position, or you can say the third position in the society. They were being taught that women are supposed to take care only of the house, the children, the family. They were not allowed to move freely in the society. Women were not allowed to get educated. And there were many rituals and many orthodox systems which were privileging in the society, and these systems were compulsory for the women. So there were some of the social reformers, the educated social reformers, who came forward to fight against or to oppose the conditions, the evil conditions of the women in the Indian society. So what were there? Let us understand the emancipations of the women. Now what was this? During the expansion of the British rule in India, the position of the Indian women was very miserable. No rights. They did not get rights for education. They were not treated equally with men in the society. Other than that, child marriages were all the orthodox and all the old customs and rituals which were being followed. Child marriage privileging were there. Okay, during that time, the moment the child is born, it was said that that when the babies are in the cradle, palna jisko kehte hai, right? So when the baby is in the cradle, in that cradle only, they used to marry that, okay, my son and your daughter, when they grow up, they will be turned as husband and wife. So this was child marriage system. Even a young girl, a child was married to an aged man. So these things were privileging. Dowry system. Dowry means when you get married, the girl's family, the daughter, that is the girl's family, has to pay the boy's family. Either they would pay them the amount or the sum of money, or they would give them lot of jewelry, gold, or some other things. So dowry was also there in the society, which was an evil cause. Sati was there, that is after the death of the husband, the wife, she has to jump alive in the funeral or the fire which is there. Then Keshavapana. Keshavapana means after the death of the husband, women had to cut off their hair, shave their hair. So this was the evil thing. Then opposition to widow remarriage. Men, after the death of the wife, he can get second time married, third time married. But women on the other hand, they were not allowed to get married for the second time. So there was opposition to widow remarriage system. So this systems, they were privileging in the society. Now, with some of the British officers, if you remember, Lord Bentinck, Lord Jones, then the other people who were there, the British officers who had come to India, they came up with different policies. And because of them, some of the social reformers, they stood forward, who took education in English or the Western education. So, with the help of the governor at that time, Lord Bentinck was the governor who had been appointed for India. And that time, Raja Ram Mohan Roy, who had studied and who had a very good command over different languages. He could speak Bengali, Arabic, English, other Sanskrit. Okay, so he came up with the act in the society with the Sati Prohibition Act. Sati Prohibition means to say no to the Sati Act. Then along with Raja Ram Mohan Roy, there was another one person in Maharashtra, Gopal Hari Deshmukh. Gopal Hari Deshmukh was been known, he was been famous with the name Lokhit Wadi. So he also came and he also he advocated himself and spread the gender equality, that is men and women were equally treated. He spread the message of gender equality to his writing in his magazines and books which he used to write, and the name of his writing, the magazine which he used to publish was Satapatre, that is Speak the Truth, Satapatre. Okay, moving ahead. Along with him, we had another one important personality, Sri Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. Who will forget this man? He brought a tremendous change in the life of the women. Now, what did he do? He was the person who started with the first girls' school. He married in his early childhood. Child marriage was there, so he also married in the early childhood. His wife, that is Savitribai Phule, she was not educated. So Mahatma Phule educated her, and later on Mahatma Phule and his wife, they started the school in their own house. So as you can see in the picture, in 1848 Mahatma Phule started the first school for girls at Bhidwada in Pune. So this is the picture of Bhidwada at that time, which was there where he started with the first school for girls. Okay, so on 3rd July 1851, in Dalit history, Mahatma Jyotirao Phule founded a girls' school in Chiplunkar Wada. So in 48 the first school, and again in 1851 in Chiplunkar Wada in Pune. So second school which is started for the girls, in which 8 girls got admitted on the first day. So this was India's second formal school for girls, and the first one was at Pune, which was founded by the Phule couple in Bhidwada. So Mahatma Phule and his wife, they did a tremendous work in establishing or in creating a tremendous change in the upbringing of the women. Now, what did do? What did his wife Savitribai Phule do? Savitribai Phule was the first woman teacher of India. She is been considered as the first woman teacher because after she got educated, after her husband taught her to read and write, she got herself educated, and she also thought that there are other girls in the society like her. So she got educated. She started teaching those girls. So the first school which was started by this couple, so she became the first teacher. She built the first all-women school. She built a well in her home for the untouchable, because the untouchable, they were from the Dalit family and they were not allowed to drink water from the local wells which were there in the society. So she built a well where the Dalit people would come and take water. She took care of the widow children, the widows after the death of their husband. Okay, there was no one to look after them. So Savitribai Phule took care of the widow children. Okay, so this is information about the Savitribai Phule. Okay, there is a university with the name of Savitri Phule in Pune. So we will end till here. We'll continue with our second video